Last year, I quit my job, sold my belongings, and moved to rural Bulgaria in order to pursue a life of more freedom and joy. Slowly, I built a way of living where my well-being comes first, where my daily habits support my health, and the pace isn't dictated by schedules, deadlines, and productivity. I stepped off the hamster wheel, quit the rat marathon, and opted out of the hustle system. I was free at last. Not in a sense that I completely deserted society and became a hermit, but in my own definition of freedom, where I can do as I please at any given time, anywhere in the world. That was the ultimate dream, and I was very much living it. For a while. Until the reality of being 40, alone, and unemployed started to show its teeth. As much as I would love to dilly-dally throughout my days, carefree and unbothered, I still feel the need to be productive, do meaningful work, and express myself creatively. Is that free will or just effective programming that won't leave me? In this video, I take you throughout my slow-paced day in Bulgaria and talk about the reality of sharing my simple life online, how that affects my freedom, and the way I express myself vulnerably and creatively in front of thousands of people. Good morning! Добро утро от красива, спокойна Bulgaria. It's such a beautiful morning like that. Feeling of the first summer morning where it's like really, really warm outside. You can be barefoot and there's a little breeze. But yeah, in the sun it's already too hot. I have to hide in the shade. I didn't have a very good sleep last night, which is a bit unusual. I've actually been sleeping really, really well here because I have my routine and everything. But the thing that kept me awake last night was this channel. I want to be completely honest and transparent, and so I think throughout this video I'm gonna talk about a little bit about how I'm feeling about my channel starting to grow really rapidly in, like, let's say the last 2 weeks or a month, just going from like 6,000 to almost 10,000 subscribers. I haven't even checked today because yesterday I got, I don't know, like so many, so I don't even know. Well, the reason that it kept me awake was just because I was full of ideas and things I wanted to express, and I was just like completely overthinking the next video, today's video, which I don't usually. Usually I have a very clear idea and then I pick a topic and I just write about it and it just kind of flows very naturally. But somehow after like these last few videos being quite successful compared to like before, I'm starting to overthink things, like what will perform well and what will you guys like, and yeah, to make it cohesive but not too repetitive, like trying to balance things that I know would be interesting for you guys but also interesting for me to share and express. It's kind of like this internal battle of what I want to produce next, and I've always felt like I just really want to I want it to be natural. I don't want to force anything, because you can sense when something is forced. And at first I was thinking to pick a completely different topic for today. And I just like felt like I cannot really form a clear idea, a clear thought about it. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just be a little bit more vulnerable and just share how it is from my perspective, everything that's been going on, how it's affecting me, and how I'm handling it, basically. Because as crazy as it sounds, like 10,000 subscribers doesn't really sound like a lot compared to some like really successful channels. Like, I don't know, I follow channels that have like millions and are like solo creators, and I cannot imagine how they are handling all this attention and I guess pressure. But yeah, it's been a little bit overwhelming trying to stay on top of things. First, on producing things that I feel I want to make and put out and express, and then all the feedback that's been coming in, which I have to say 99% of it is so positive, and I'm so thankful, so grateful. Like, I made some really good decisions a while back when I was trying to like steer this channel into a direction that feels authentic to me. Nonetheless, there's always people that find negative things to point out or comment, either from their own frustration or something that I overlooked or whatever. I mean, if it's like constructive, it's completely fine. I appreciate any comments like that. But if it's not, if it's just like negative for the sake of being negative and spreading anger and frustration, then it really bothers me. So I'm trying to figure out how to balance everything, how to protect my energy, how to set boundaries, and grow this channel in a way that is sustainable for me, for my mental health, for my physical health, for my emotional, spiritual self. Because I mean, the whole reason I chose this kind of lifestyle, living alone in small villages in Bulgaria, is to have that peace and regain my energy after so many burnouts that I had. So the last thing I want is to drift into another burnout because I feel too much pressure with the channel. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to talk a little bit about vulnerability, setting boundaries, and basically how weird it is that so many people are connecting, reaching out, and asking for help, basically, which I never thought I would be someone to guide people in this way, I guess. Right, let's get going. When I quit my job last year, it was with the intention to spend less time behind four walls, less time glued to the screen, sitting behind the desk for 8, 9, 10 hours every day. It was with the intention that I free myself from deadlines, stress, pressure, emails, and work obligations. And it seemed like for a while I was very successful living this new, slow, simple, and pressure-free lifestyle. I was in charge of my schedule, my day-to-day obligations, and wandering the world freely as I pleased. I felt free. But lately things have been shifting. This channel grew for 53% in just this last month. Nothing about the fact that 100,000 people have watched my videos lately, judging what I do and say, is normal to me. That's a full-blown stadium of people I can't even imagine performing in front of such a crowd. And trust me, I'm feeling overjoyed by it. I'm grateful and excited, motivated, inspired, and very proud, but also very overwhelmed. Not so much by the sudden growth, but the response and the subtle consequences that has had. I suddenly find myself overthinking each step and each decision instead of spending time outside enjoying these glorious early summer days we've been having here in Bulgaria. I wish I could spend all day outside because it's so nice, but unfortunately, I have quite a lot to do today. Mainly, I need to finish a member's YouTube video. I'm stuck behind the laptop again. Scripting, editing, designing thumbnails, uploading, promoting, creating reels and shorts, reading comments, answering messages and emails. I feel like I'm on the edge of making it a full-time job, over-consuming and ever-demanding. When does it stop to be fun and becomes just another career path? Is this truly what I want? Is this why I made such a drastic life change? Just to fall back in the same patterns that led to burnout? In hindsight, I'm starting to realize why it took me so long to come to this point. 6 years to be exact. You really need to be ready for the consequences of visibility. I wasn't only building my voice, my authentic expression, I was building a thicker skin, a secure place within myself, and a confidence and a knowing of who I am, because how people perceive me is only a fraction of who I really am, and I have to know this. This is the point where I need to use everything I learned in the past and set very clear boundaries. See, the thing is, I'm a highly sensitive, deeply empathic person, and as such, I'm like a sponge. I suck in all the energy from my surroundings, whether it's positive or not. I cannot be indifferent. Things touch me deeply. Stories move me emotionally. I connect intensely. These are all superpowers when used in consideration, but abuse them and they will turn against you, drain you of every last drop of energy you have. At some point, I have to accept and make peace with the fact that I cannot do everything I want. I can't satisfy the algorithm and be completely unattached to the outcomes. I cannot produce every video at 100%, and not every video will reach 50,000 people. I can't reply thoughtfully to every single comment, message, and email I receive. I can't promote my channel on all the platforms all at once. I can't sit behind the laptop for 8-9 hours every day again. I just can't. I won't. There has to be either a point at which I start to delegate tasks and outsource the workload, or I simply retreat back to my cave of solitude. Well, it doesn't have to be that drastic, but all the attention is making me slightly uncomfortable, and it begs the question, am I okay with my privacy being everyone's business? I never wished to be famous, but I also never expected to get so much attention at such a small scale. The good thing is, I still have time to pull back and retreat. Someone in the comments recently pointed this out and really made me think. How can you be free when you're so dependent on using social media? Yes, it might be ironic and even hypocritical to be promoting slow, simple, intentional living on social media, something that is so clearly a product of capitalism and a complete opposite from values I hope to advertise here. But I think the spectrum of its benefits, or the lack of, is actually very broad, and it all depends on how you use it on a personal level. I've never been against technological progress and innovation. Even though I said on multiple occasions we'd all be doing better if we just went back to living in caves, not knowing that I would actually experience that twice. But I strongly believe that if you use these modern tools to make a positive contribution to the world around you, why not? Why bang stones together to make a fire if you have a lighter in your pocket? It's not the tool that is bad, it's what you do with it that can have negative results. In the war, man against the machine, who will win? And this brings me to another point I wanted to highlight. Vulnerability is a two-sided sword. One side cuts deeply into the souls of like-minded people. The more openly and honestly you share your story, more intensely people will resonate, connect, and find refuge in your message. On the other side, you open your imperfect self, your heart and mind, to all the drifters of this planet who are only looking for their next target. One doesn't come without the other, unfortunately. And although I'm incredibly grateful that my audience consists of 99 pure, loving, kind, generous, and simply wonderful human beings, there is always that 1% that comes knocking on your door when you least expect it, with curveballs so low that even pro basketball champs wouldn't be able to defend that. The thing is, I will never be able to please everyone, nor should that be anyone's agenda. As a diagnosed people pleaser, I say this with care. So the best thing is to just be your fabulous self, no apologies. In a world where I can choose how to show up, I will always choose to be kind, loving, and a caring human being. Yeah, very well. Where are you? Oh, really? It looks very posh, like a really nice background. It's 5 o'clock and I feel like I've been behind the laptop again almost the entire day, so it's time to go outside. I was thinking, like, what actually prevents us from being free? Besides the more obvious barriers that obstruct our freedom, like political, geographical, economical, there are those which silently but relentlessly keep us from living a peaceful, fulfilling life. One is fear, the other is our own ego. Both have been systematically engraved and groomed in us so that we comply with the rules and needs of modern society. Be free of ego and people will call you crazy. Be free from fear and people will call you dangerous. Both are very difficult to overcome, not many people do, but be aware of how both of them run your subconscious and you will never be imprisoned by your own mind. Birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. For humans, our comfort zone is often the cage we never dare to leave, even if on the other side of it lies a paradise beyond our wildest imagination. Self-limiting beliefs are our biggest threat of true independence, liberty, and freedom. So this is your reminder to question your own boundaries and beliefs. Think what is truly holding you back and limiting your full potential. I choose freedom over fear. Besides the very slow mornings, this is my favorite time of the day. Like now, I think it's around 6 o'clock. The temperature is just right. The light is nice and soft. The birds are chipping away and all the insects are flying around. And it's just kind of like this very deep exhale. The tasks, most of them are done for today. And I've just been here scripting for this video of writing like I'm crazy and just pouring out my thoughts. And yeah, just trying to enjoy this part of the day and just be outside and be present and notice things and be grateful and hang out with the kitties. They are so fun. Oh my gosh. Without them, it would be a completely different experience. Yeah, they're really cool. I will miss them when I leave. Also, just yeah, Mia, one question. I think this is a mulberry tree, and there's a few and different kinds. Different kinds around the property, and I'm just like, what do you do? Like, I've never in my life encountered a mulberry tree. Do you just pick this and eat it? Is it ripe? I think this is ripe, no? What if I die now? I don't even know what I'm eating. No, this is mulberry for sure. It's good, but what do I do with it? Like, there's so much. I have this kind, I have a more red kind, I have like a black kind. Yeah, just let me know in the comments, what do I do with the mulberry so that I don't waste it, because what are you doing? Yeah. Do you want to try? Możesz próbować? Nope. So am I truly free? I guess that depends on how you define freedom. Ask a prisoner and he will give you his definition. Ask a person living in a war zone and he will give you theirs. Ask someone consumed by mental illness and they will give you another one. Ask a teenager and they will definitely give you theirs. We each see freedom by interpreting our own circumstances and limitations. But the worst one is not realizing you have a say in it to begin with. Being restricted by your own close-mindedness is the worst prison of them all. Not knowing you have a choice every day, every single moment, to shape the trajectory of your life, that is the biggest trap of them all. Knowing you have the power to change the narrative at any given point, that is what will ultimately set you free. So what this means for me, I guess as long as I feel in control of what I do, when I do it, where I am, how I speak, how I express and present myself, what I consume and surround myself with, if I'm the master of my time, body, spirit and mind, then I am free. Freedom is the oxygen of the soul, representing the power to choose, to be authentic, and to live unconstrained by fear.